Good morning. Or for some of you, it's good afternoon. But here in wonderful New Mexico, USA, it's good morning. So I have a mess here in front of me. If anybody watched my preview and really just kind of telling you what I had and what I was going to do, we're going to talk about beading, jewelry, um, the tools, the techniques, anything, any questions you have. Well, hello, Laura. So, first off, I want to show you something not jewelry because I just finished it yesterday and I think it's pretty darn cool. Um, Good morning, Darla. So, here we have a Russell Stover candy bar, which was really good. Solid milk chocolate. I guess that's $1,000,000. I just thought that the packaging was cool, and it's a heavy cardstock, not quite chipboard. So I just saved the preview or the one of Gary's, and this one's mine. All I did was cut the end flaps off, and I collaged and then doodled on it. Put some papers in it, but the coolest part of this is the lining of the book. I had someone send in a box. Whoops. Some stuff I cut for the pages. That the whole postage on a flat rate box, the whole box was covered with these. And I just soaked the box and took them off. And now I have all kinds of cool. I like it because it's all one piece. That was what made it cool. But yeah, I haven't made a book in a long time. And the candy bar inspired me. And I just wanted to share that. Well, good morning, Belinda. How is everyone doing this morning? I am ready to play. I dug out stuff last night and I just kept going and kept going. So we may not cover everything, but you can always send me questions at, well, good morning, dragons, at jeanpeterartist@gmail.com. And I will answer any questions that may not be covered today. So, where do I want to start? I think probably let's go over the tools. Okay, we're going to go there. So what we have here is a pair of round nose pliers. This is pretty normal. Most people who play with wire jewelry have these. You use them to make loops and curly cues and things like that. But they can also just hold a wire steady while you're doing something with your hands. All girls should have pretty tools. That's my rule. So anyway, I have that. I have the ugliest pair of crimp pliers ever. This had a hole in it, and they come off. These are probably over 20 years old. They do not make them like this anymore. These are a little bit thinner than what they make them now. I love mine, and nobody gets to use my pliers because they can't be replaced. I mean, they can be replaced with one, but it kind of does. Actually, the tape that's on here is even worn down in spots. This is grip tape from, tennis rackets. That's what it was for. So we have that crimp pliers, and we will work on crimps today. I hope you can see what I'm doing because they're tiny, and I can't use a bigger one to show you. We have cutters. Any cutter will work, but if you're working with wire, you always want to cut on this side. Well, what you want to do is you want your finished, okay, how do I want to say that? Your finished work is this, you cut with this on your that, and it'll give you a flush cut, less options to snag and be scratchy. Bent nose pliers, and these are kind of all the same. These are just kind of a needle nose. They're a small needle nose. I don't use any tools that have lines in it for the most part. There is an occasion when you do need that, I will admit. But these are both the same. I just like the curve. In fact, I have 2 pair of these, but I'm not going to lie. Every tool I have, I probably have 2 of, at least. That comes from years of teaching. So I always had extra tools. But you know, this kind of extends your hands on things you're working at. And well, let's just do it right now because I'm talking about it and it's right here. Jump rings. I prefer split rings, which I definitely have those on here somewhere. But we're going to take these jump rings, and I grabbed the great big ones in hopes that it would help you all see better, because some of this stuff is little. When you open a jump ring, use 2 pair of pliers. You can open it with your fingers if they're soft enough, but I always use 2 pair of pliers. And you open them like this. And I'll show you kind of with my hands. This is the ring, and you're rotating. You're not pulling it out. If you pull it out like that, you'll never get it to straighten back up. So we've got this one open. And now we're going to just put our dangle or whatever it is we've made on there. I'm just using another jump ring. And I'm going to pinch it back again. And you just go back until it's back in place. And you kind of rock it, pushing it in and going back and forth. And you do kind of hear it click when they're lined up. They're still not lined up yet. If you can see that. Oh man, this is just not good. But you just keep doing it until... Did you hear that click? No, it's still not right. But anyway, that is the way you do it. Now, I do have a little tool here. It's still not right. It's not, well, it might work, but it's not going to make me happy. A jump ring thing here. All it is a screw on this band. Honestly, I didn't even know that I had one. I was looking for different components. But what you do with it is just pretty much what you do with 2 pliers. I never was very good at using it. The pliers are, I've used pliers for so long. But you put it in here, your jump ring, in the groove of the screw, and it holds it steady, and then you twist, and you opened up your split ring, your jump ring. And then closing it, you can do the same thing. But like I said, I have fat fingers. So, you know, this didn't really fit anywhere easy. So that's maybe why I don't. Yeah, I have a ring that has, I had one. I don't know where it's at, but anyway, I just happened to find that one yesterday. And then we have the split ring pliers. They look a lot like these, mix them up a lot, but this has a little hook on it. I don't know if you can see that real well. I can kind of, yeah. And a split ring is, to me, so, hi, Candy. A split ring is, to describe it if you don't know, is like a keychain. You know, the double ring. And what this one does is it's got that little hook on it, and you can go in between the two rings. And I guess I should have grabbed a key ring so you could see it better. And then you can, we're just going to put it on this toggle that's laying here. You open it up, and you still have to, it doesn't open it up real far, but far enough to put the loop in. And I think I should have brought over my magnifying glass. These old eyes ain't wanting to do this morning. Okay, let's get closer to the end. Okay, I open it, and then I kind of pull back with my finger and hold it steady. And it's in there, but it's a fat toggle. And I usually take another pair of pliers and go around like this so that I don't stretch that out. And now that's on there, and it's so much more secure because it's like two rings. And I love my split rings. I don't even do split rings at all without this. I love that plier. So that's the tools, the majority of the tools. There's lots more tools. So if you've got something else that you don't know how to use, take a picture of it, send it to me. Good chance I have one over there, and the other tools that don't get used a lot. Also, I have nylon jaw pliers. Mine are pretty rough right now, but when you're working with wire and you don't want to mar your wire, it changes the whole look of your thing, your project. And these are just like a flat nose plier. You can straighten wire, do lots of things with these, but they're nylon jaw, and they don't mar your wire. And most of them have screws, and you can replace the nylon jaws if you can always find the replacements. Hi, Kim. And hello to anyone else that's came in that I've missed. Okay, so we've covered the tools. That's the big start, because if you got the right tools, you can make the right things. So I know I've had questions on knotting. I've had questions on crimping and earrings. Those are the ones that I've received already. So I say, well, let me just go over a few components first. I don't use these at all. I don't like these, but I'm going to show them because a lot of people do like them. And it's stapled, and I can't get it open, so we're just going to tear it, and I'll put them in something else later. I don't know well, I do know several years ago, I was teaching down at the art center student classes, and a lady brought me this huge box of natural stones and all kinds of stuff, and these were in there. This is just basically got a head pin with a loop on the end, each one, and these are barrel clasps that screw. I think they're hard to use as far as wearing them, I think. So, they're there. That's what they are. They work. They're just not, I'm not a fan. Oh, that's cool. My best suggestion to you for the loopers is to go on YouTube. I received a pair. I have used them years ago. I didn't like them then. I received a pair. I tried them, and I still didn't like them. And so I gave mine away. So I don't even have any to show you how to use that. But to reuse them when I got the pair or try them out, I went on YouTube, and it was just a short video. I don't remember who it was, but it was a really short video, and it explained it really easy. And I'm just not a fan of those. And the main reason for that is, yeah, it's not just us, it's the tool. The main reason I don't like it is I worked in a jewelry store for 7 years. and I did a lot of repair work, more than I care to think about, especially when some of those people brought in stuff that was so dirty, and we still had to we repair them. So yeah, I'm going to show you how to make a link and a wrapped loop here in a little while, and that's why I don't use them. I make loops that we're going to stay together. This is a link with wrapped loops, and it is strong. There's no jump rings. There's not. I mean, it's the reason I like the looper is it makes um it makes it like an eye pin, and it leaves a space. And I don't like that space. I want everything to fit. I don't want things to rock and roll all over the place because um I put my jewelry on and it's on until I make a meatloaf. And that's the honest truth. I sleep in all my jewelry. I don't have as much as I normally wear on. I sleep in my earrings, I sleep in my necklace. Yeah, I don't like the space it leaves. And I tried it years ago and couldn't get it to work, and I still couldn't get it to work. And I know there's head pins here, eye pins here somewhere. But what it does is it makes the loop and it doesn't make the wrap. And that's why. I know they're a good tool, and I know a lot of people love them. I don't. So therefore, I don't have them. So I showed you the barrel clasp, and then this is another kind of in. This is a cord end, and I didn't grab any leather. So let me walk over here. I knew I'd forget something. I have trying to find a heavy enough leather for that. It's going to take me a second because it's on the last. I don't use a lot of leather, so it's not really handy. I don't know if you've ever seen a pants hanger where the crossbars hook onto it and it'll hold like 4 pairs of pants. That's what I have, and I all my cords and strings and stuff are on it. So let's use this one. It looks like the heaviest, and the end is out there. What this does is you can put your cord in there. A little drop of glue is fine. E6000 is a good jewelry glue, but there is jewelry glues out there. I don't use a lot of glue if I don't have to. And I'm going to use flat nose pliers, and you smash one side down. And this might be one of those times where you want the more flat. Like I'm trying to get this because I tend to pull things to myself. Let me grab real quick. I knew this was going to be a lot of me getting up and down because I'm actually filming at my craft desk, but my jewelry desk is on the other. So you just use, see how much easier it is there, and it's nice and smooth. And then you come over here and you do the other side. And a little bit of glue on this, like I said, is good. But you don't need a lot. Even super glue would work. And then you can smash that. And it's still kind of round, but and then you can put your clasp on it. This tool, this is just, I don't even know where I got it, but it's just a flat nose plier, square nosed. They're flat noses come in a lot of different shapes. And, you don't need expensive tools. I do have to admit that these two tools are, they're pushing 20 years old, and it still cuts. And these, I mean, I love these, but I went and got ergonomically correct because I was using them so much in teaching. And yeah, I really like these. They're not really for crimps. They're just handy like for this because I was using the small ones and you could see every little time I pinched. So if you get some wider ones, you don't see that. Okay, so I've had a lot of questions about crimp beads. So before we do crimp beads, we're going to do the wire. What do you use crimp beads on? Oh, well, there's my head pins and my eye pins. Okay, a little bit of stringing materials. And there's semi method to my madness. Hi, Susan, if I didn't say hi. So Fireline is mostly for seed beads. You can use it for necklaces, and it is strong, but I'm not going to tie a knot if I don't have to. Because, you know, knots are, there's human error with knots. So, but it's good stuff, and I do use it for most of my seed bead stuff because it lets it be flexible. So then you have flexible wire, and I have two different kinds. Well, there's so many kinds. There really is. This is 0.018 inches. This is 7 strand, and this works. This is the cheapest one, and this works. Yes. You know what else is good? Nail clippers. I actually carry nail clippers in my jewelry bag for many, many years. The flexible wire, uh, this is 7 strand, and this will do good for most things. I know it's really hard to see. You can kind of see it better there. Which, by the way, guys, I got new mats. Anyway, um, if you're going with heavy big beads, go a little bit better. If you're going with things that are really rough, go a little bit better. And this is the little bit better. This is soft flex. This is the fine stuff, but it's a 10-pound test. It says you can tie knots in it. I do not. But they do have up to 49 strands, where this is 7 and it's 49. Oh, yeah, that sounds like it's going to be so much thicker, but nope, it doesn't. The 49 strand is the strongest. And I do have some yeah. I have this little box full of wires and threads and cording things and stuff like that. So, but the 7 strand is usually just as good as for most things, but just don't use it with anything heavy. It's not for heavy stuff. I mean, it just really isn't. And you can get there's I don't know how many strands. 49 is the biggest, the most I've seen, but some of them, there's others, not just 7 and 49. There's things in between them. But if you're going to spend the money to get a better one, get the 49 because I have never made anything on it that broke. I have with this. Okay, so we're going to use this because the 7 strand's not my favorite and I have more than I need. And we're going to do some crimping. If I can figure out where I put them. Yes, I store a lot in baggies. And so that's how things are right now, all over the place. Oh, right here, smack dab in front of me. Let's see if you can see these on here. Crimp beads are tiny. I will, most crimp beads work. I have always used sterling silver crimp beads, mostly because I'm not good on base metals. Me and base metals don't always work. But then again, my wedding set is white gold, This isn't mine. This was my mama's. And it has been turning my finger black lately. So, yeah. Yeah, any glass beads, you got to be careful, especially with the thread. So we're going to take, oh, it's here. This is elastic. We'll get to this later. Don't crimp elastic. Don't ever, ever crimp elastic. I know people do, but if you think about it, you've got a piece of elastic and you're smashing a piece of metal into the elastic. I don't see how it cannot cut it eventually. So, but we will come back to that, I promise. And if I don't, somebody yell at me, okay? So, wire. let's find something to put on there. Let's just put this little clasp on here, okay? So you're going to put on the crimp beads. If you've got a heavy piece of jewelry and beads, you can do 2. In fact, we used to do 2 most of the time at the bead store. So we're going to do 2.